Good day, family. It's your man, damednydc, host of the Two Mics Up podcast. Back today, brand new episode, and I'm excited. We have a guest that's on and joining us today, or will be joining us today. Is really a well-rounded individual. Um, she's an author, a presenter, a speaker. She's in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, and she is the founder of J&E Enterprises. Now, for those of us who are outside of the Charlotte area, we probably are not familiar with this guest and the services that she provides, but I've been able to follow along, have some conversation back and forth, and she's pioneering some things even in the pandemic that a lot of us as entrepreneurs and small businesses have really been struggling to do. And I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring our guest on today. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to Miss Janet Butts. Janet, please take a moment to go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience and give us a little background about yourself.
Thank you so very much, Damon. First of all, let me say what an honor and a pleasure it is to be with you and your audience today, and just to talk a little bit about some of the things that myself and my assistant are doing here in the beautiful city of Charlotte, North Carolina. To begin with, I am originally from New York City. I
Okay.
was born on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, of commonly, but even more fondly known as El Barrio, to
Okay.
a Puerto Rican mother and an African American or Black father. And so that makes me a New York Rican. And I'm very proud of being a New York Rican. I have always taken great pride in that and the culture and the beauty of our ethnicity and so on. And so that's something that I've just carried throughout my life. And innovation is something that my father was always so good about teaching us, and to be creative and to
Hmm.
be pioneers, for lack of a better term. But here in Charlotte, North Carolina, after a series of some traumas,
Hmm.
some great things, some victories, some setbacks, we've decided to do a couple of very interesting things. One of them is to step out on faith and
Okay.
to launch two incredible entities that I am extremely proud of and extremely happy to discuss with you today. We
Oh,
have our company that we started back in December of 2020, which was, again, a real leap for us, but something that we are so proud of, and that's J&E Enterprises. One of the things that happened, of course, during the pandemic was that many of us were at home and many of us were thinking about, okay, what's next? What do I
right.
do now?
Right.
And for me, it was even more important because 4 years prior, I had been involved in an automobile accident,
Oh.
which actually took my left hand. And
Oh,
so
wow.
during my recovery process and while I was home, I thought, okay, how do I make this a wonderful thing?
Hmm.
And the answer was to continue to be the person that I was, and that's to
Hmm.
help people.
Okay.
So, what we decided to do was we decided to start a virtual administrative support services company, and that's our J&E Enterprises.
Okay.
And so, because many people are now working from home and many people are doing things and creating opportunities for themselves, entrepreneurs are starting small
Yep.
businesses. Um, and we wanted to be that company that would support individuals that wanted to do these things but didn't necessarily know how. And
Hmm.
so J&E Enterprises is primed to help individuals start their small businesses, to help entrepreneurs be creative in how they do their businesses, and then we help them through administrative support services after
Hmm.
they've started. And
Hmm.
so I took over 30 years of customer service experience and management experience. And I just made it work for me. And I did that by offering these professional services to individuals that are just coming out and just getting started.
I mean, so that's amazing. When we talk about on the show a lot about how you have to understand all of the talents that you actually have, uh, and a lot of us don't write these things down because we are so diverse, and we have so much inept talent, or inert talent, I should say, that we don't realize it. Like you
That's
said,
right.
just by taking your skill set of one career or one aspect of your career, in customer service, and turning that into, a virtual administrative services, especially in this time, like you said, because with the pandemic, so many of us jumped out, even like myself with the podcast. It kind of became a thing out of, we used to have Friday night groups, and with George Floyd and everything that was going on in the world, we all wanted to know what could we do to make a difference.
That's right.
And this right kind of became my my way of participating and giving back. And things kind of take legs, kind of grow faster than what you expect. And I want to know then, because everything that you said is like this mind blowing. One, sorry to hear about your accident, but your accident gave you, it sounds like, even more strength to push through. And then with this opportunity, I don't, the pandemic, I hate to call it opportunity, but for you, it was really an opportunity
That's right.
to really help inspire others. So when you meet, let's say, new businesses or new, people come to you and say, "Hey, Janet, this is what my vision is, and this is what I want to do." How do you help walk them through your process, to be able to serve them virtually?
Absolutely. And thank you so much for that question, because that's one of the most vital parts of everything of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I love about, and that's maybe a little bit different than what most people do that are in virtual businesses,
Mm-hmm.
is that we help the individuals that are looking to start their businesses go through a process of discovery.
Mm.
And so the first thing that we do is that we offer a free consultation, otherwise known as a discovery phone call. And what that consultation will do is that it'll give us 30 minutes to get to know the individual, to get to hear the vision, to get to understand the vision to a
Mm-hmm.
certain degree, and then to see how we can best suit their needs through our services. So for example, no two individuals are alike. Therefore, there's no one way of approaching support services for these individuals.
Mm-hmm.
What we like to do is we like to get to know the person. What brought them to that point? What made them decide that this was the right time to make a decision like this? Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it can be a life changing decision. I know for us it was. And so what we do is we then just give them through our consultations, through support services, with regard to the conversations that we have. And then we tailor the services that we provide for them
Mm-hmm.
specifically for that individual. So we may have some operations that are pretty much the same for everyone. And
Right.
that's once they make the decision to move forward and start their business, then of course, filing the legal paperwork is all the same. But
Right.
everything leading up to that point gives us an opportunity to dialogue about what's important and what are some of the things that they have to be aware of as they make this decision. For example, people think that the hardest part is
Mm.
applying for all the paperwork that you need, is applying for your business licenses, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the hardest part is far removed from that. Sometimes the hardest part is what's next.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's so important for us to have that discovery conversation with individuals. But we also let them know, hey, we're not going to abandon you. Part of the beauty of doing virtual administrative support services is that we can stay with you for the long haul until you say, hey, I feel comfortable. I don't have to pay you guys to do this anymore. We're going to go ahead and take it on ourselves. And that's what I love. I love to see people. Most people would get a little bit concerned when their clients make the decision that they don't need our services anymore. But that's what I love the most.
Oh,
I love when people don't need us anymore, because one thing that means is that they're strong enough to stand on their own, and then
mhm.
they can take this vision and run with it and do creatively what they would like to do with it. Yeah,
I think too, the other part that I think a lot of times, and for me, even being here, or using our platform, I am so, you don't know the joy that I get a lot of times from talking to past guests. We had a couple of guests come on. One lady who has had so much success from being on the show, is now able to really consider leaving her regular 9 to 5 and starting her own business. And I think for me, that's the joy, knowing that, you've helped someone so much so that now they're able to go out and do their thing on their own. And it's a
That's
great,
right.
and then the referral though that comes from it that I've gotten, and I'm pretty sure for you, you actually helped that person grow and develop to a point where they really have to speak about you because of your commitment. You stayed with them through the good and the bad, and you helped them actually reach their goal and see their vision come to fruition. So I think that's really the blessing in all of it. So I mean, I got excited just listening to your story, because I mean I feel that same way too. I can feel that energy, and I think a lot of us don't really understand how that give and take really works, and that's what we're
That's
really
right.
here. While we're
That's right.
here,
That's
and
right. That's right. That's kind of what I like to consider the giver's opportunity. And I
mm,
believe that many opportunities come from giving. So,
yes,
for example, while some people might find it to be a tarry or a burden or something to stay with somebody as they grow and develop and prosper in their own right, that's
hmm,
one of the things that I find a privilege. I
yeah,
find that people will speak of you differently when
yes,
they're talking to other people about you and the services that you provide, when you can say something like, she's not going to let you go
yeah,
until you're ready. She's
yeah,
going to hang in there with you
yeah,
until you're ready, which is so critical to me in this day and age, especially in this time of pandemic ism, for lack of a better term, where it's kind of separating us. It's kind of
yes,
making us all go in different directions, and everybody is
yeah,
protective, and everybody wants to kind of be on guard about things. I
yeah.
love the fact that because we can do everything virtually, that it gives me really a platform to just hang out with you.
Yeah, yeah, it really does, and that's awesome. It's really perfect timing, and sometimes that's what it's all about, just being there at the right place, the right time.
That's right.
But I also want to ask too, because like I said, you're well versed, and one of the other things that well, a couple of the other things I'd like to touch on is one as you being an author, a presenter and a speaker. You know, we touched on the pandemic and how that helped formulate, J&E. But where was the inspiration that came behind, wanting to become an author and a presenter and a speaker? Because I think a lot of us think we can talk, and a lot of us think we can present, but that takes a true passion and sometimes an inspiration. I'm just curious, what inspired you to do those things?
To be perfectly honest, my life inspired me to do that.
Mm,
A long time ago, I had a conversation with my aunt about a endeavor that was just a thought at the
mhm,
time. And it was a huge deal. And I'll get a little bit more into that as we move on. But it
mhm,
was a huge deal because I had gone through some really traumatic
mm,
things that I imposed upon myself, as well as just life happenings.
mhm,
And so, one of the things that I had in mind at the time was, again, always having that spirit to want to help other people, is how do I make a difference? How do I make
mhm,
a difference in the lives of women who have been through what I've been through, done what I've done, said the things I've said, and so on?
mhm,
My aunt looked at me, and her dying words to me were, tell them your story. And so as I began to think about that, I thought, well, man, my story is not pretty. My
mm,
story talks about things that are not appealing all the time, and they're
mhm,
not something that people really want to hear. And they're also things that maybe turn people off to you.
mm,
My
mhm.
dad told me a long time ago, you can't tell everybody everything every
Everything.
time.
That's
But I
right.
feel that this is a great platform for me to say that it was a lifestyle of substance abuse and
Mm,
alcoholism and things of that nature, and
mhm,
everything that comes along with it, that made me, the day that I decided that that was just no longer acceptable to me, that I was worth more than this, and that
right.
I deserved more than this,
Yeah.
that I decided, you know what, I want to write about that
Mm,
because I can't talk to people all the time. So I want to write about that. And then perhaps someone will pick up the book, they'll read it, they'll see themselves in it, and then they'll
mm.
want what I have. And
Wow.
that's essentially what really led to the whole thing. When
Wow.
my aunt told me, tell them your story, I thought to myself, well, that means I'm going to have to speak. And
Mm-hmm.
that means that I'm going to have to author. And that means that I'm going to have conversations. And the only way to do that is to just dive into the deep end of the
Yep.
pool and swim your way back. And so that's what we did. And so this past Friday, I am so excited to announce that, just as you said and congratulated me on, we cut the ribbon and opened the doors to the Free Indeed Project of Charlotte. And the Free
Ooh.
Indeed Project of Charlotte is basically designed, Damon, to provide life skills and leadership development training for post incarcerated women and
Wow.
women that are at risk of incarceration. So, what I want to do is, I want to tell them, hey, you know what? I know your story.
Hmm.
I
That's
was
powerful.
your story.
That's
And now
powerful.
all I want to do is change your story. I want to see you evolve from this, to transform from this, and to become a contributing citizen in our communities and in our society. How do
Wow.
we do that, Damon? The same exact way. You hang out with them and you make sure that they're surrounded by community leaders that believe in them and that will
Mm-hmm.
pull the best out of them, things that they are not accustomed to doing or saying or hearing. We're
Right.
going to make that a norm for them. And I cannot begin to
Wow.
tell you how excited I am about that.
Wow. All I can say is wow, congratulations. Because that is really powerful, and it just touches on, we were able to have early on in our season three, we had a woman join us here from Northern Virginia with failsafe ERA. She deals with, uh, bringing or working with incarcerated, women, men and women here in the Northern Virginia area, uh,
Okay.
integrate back into the community. And it's just so mind blowing. It's one of those things that we constantly, I don't want to say constantly, but we just overlook. We don't really pay attention or really see or think how much the impact of being incarcerated and then trying to integrate them back into our communities, and really how much support they really need from us to be able to reintegrate back into society positively.
That's right.
And I really am proud to, having her on and now having you on and what you're doing in Charlotte. It's amazing. It's needed. Congratulations. And thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you, though, too, even more so, your story, your background, uh, your life story.
That's right.
I hope as an author, people are listening, they go out and they find any of your work or any of your books. And we're going to let you share that before we go, because someone, and I say this a lot now, one person watching or listening to today's episode reaches out to you, can get information about you or from you, and it works to change or move their life just even 80 degrees.
That's right.
We've done our job here
That's
on
right.
this show. So
That's
thank
right.
you. And thank
I
you for sharing.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And it is important. You touched on one of the most important things. Individuals that are incarcerated, they I call them the forgotten breed. And I
Mm,
say that because we are often overlooked, and then
yes.
because we have a background, or because we have a tainted lifestyle, people
Hmm.
often would kind of just turn their nose up to individuals with
Yeah.
this, or just kind of disregard them, or just really just kind of treat them like they're the worst things on earth.
Yes.
But you used a term earlier that is so critical with regard to addressing or even identifying these individuals: inert talents.
Hmm.
Some of the most incredible talent is wasted
Yes, ma'am.
on this mindset of, I'm nothing. I'm
Yes.
nobody. Nobody
Yes.
cares about me. And so,
Yes.
what I want to do is, I want to create a platform for women that's kind of like a soft landing that makes them go, I have this talent.
Yeah.
I want to make it work on my
Yeah.
behalf. I want to create an opportunity to be a earner for my family. I
Hmm.
want to be proud. And I want for them to feel that they deserve everything that life has to offer from a qualitative perspective,
I
not just
agree.
from a quantitative perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what I'm hoping to do is to change the community mindset about
Mm-hmm.
these individuals.
Yep.
Anytime that you come out and you return to your same state of affairs, there's a strong opportunity, there's a strong chance you're going to make the same decisions. You're going
Okay.
to make the same mistakes. And that's what I want to make absolutely certain that we do, is that we put a platform out there for not only the community to change their mindset about individuals who are incarcerated or post incarcerated, but that then they can provide a new set of
Mm.
standards for these individuals so that they feel worthy of
Yep.
coming around and doing
Yep.
things differently.
Mm. Man, that Janet, that is so powerful. And I thank you, and I mean it sincerely. Wish you all the success in that because it's really
Thank
needed.
you.
And these are the type of programs and things that I really believe we need to see more of across our nation.
Thank you. I
Because
agree.
we've have a whole, I don't want to call it a subset, but we have a set of a group of people that are just not being tapped into, like we said. And I think there's so much talent, there's
There
so much
is.
diversity and strength and beauty and creatives that are just being overlooked and passed over because of a mistake, a lot of times of things that are not of their own doing.
That's right.
We many of us, black and brown, we come up under circumstances. Some of us just can't get out of circumstance, and it's unfortunate, and we get passed by. But what you're doing, and Miss Janet, uh, uh, continue success. And I just have to move on and ask then, you know, from all everything that we've heard, so far in this conversation about your background, how have so I see what you're doing with the program, but now there's some of, like I said, I touched on the part about speaking. Have you come across certain individuals who are, you find, what, have you ever thought about getting the communications, or hey, you would be great at presenting or speaking, and if so, how have you helped them kind of move themselves to the forefront when it comes to public speaking?
That's a great question.
Mm.
And the beauty of that is that through J&E Enterprises, we offer a public speaking
Okay.
workshop.
Okay.
And so beginning in January, we're going to pick it up again. October was our last one.
Hmm.
And what we do is every third Saturday of the month, we send out an invitation for anybody that's looking to launch a public speaking career, or
Hmm.
perhaps just want to do what they do at a better and greater level because with a public speaking maybe workshop or something,
Hmm.
they are able to do their jobs better. For example, trainers,
Okay.
orienters, teachers. So we offer a half day public speaking workshop that gives these individuals the opportunity to come and learn firsthand the art of public speaking. And that's the name of the workshop. It's the
Okay.
art of public speaking. I've been doing it for a long time, so I kind of know the do's and don'ts. And it's so amazing to me the things that people really don't know about what it takes and the art of public speaking. And I
Hmm.
thought, well, what a wonderful way to get people,
Yep.
moving in that direction if that's the direction that they decide in. Maybe they're even just thinking about it. And so they just want to know, is this for me? So
Mm-hmm.
this gives people an opportunity to come and take this half-day workshop, and they can either hone their skills, they can improve their skills, or they can just start a new lifestyle all together.
That's awesome, man. I love that. That's really great. And a lot of people, like I said, we laugh and we joke, and a lot of times we joke here offset or when we're messing around. We're colorful people. Blacks and browns and people of color. We're very colorful, and I
Yes, we
think
are.
most of us think that it's just easy enough to get behind the mic and just go ahead and you know, yeah, right. Well, I mean, we do, we really do. And then sometimes when you look out and then you start seeing all of these people, yeah, you're not really ready for it. So it's great that you have a service such as yours that can really allow, again, because I find I've met so many, man, Mr. D, Mr. Dan, I want to be like it. No, man, it's not that easy. And a lot of people talk to me, man, you've been doing this for years. Like, no, really, I've been doing this for like 2 years. Is it?
Wow.
But it's just that I've always been the type, and again, like you, I'm from New York. Yeah. Yeah, look, what you want me to say? What? Oh, okay. I might not say it
Mm-hmm.
like that. I might not say it like that, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay, yeah, no problem. Go ahead, I'll do it. And that's just been me, and I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy finding out different things. I'm very inquisitive, but it's great that you have something like that. And again, I think if anybody's listening or watching that wants to reach out to Janet, do so because again, these are the type of things I really think we need more of in our community. Again, it would help so many other young people use that negative energy
That's right.
and create something positive for
That's
them to
right.
do. And
That's right.
I think
And
it
one
needs
of
to
the
happen.
things that we teach in the class is that there are four different types of public speakers.
Mm.
There's the informationalist,
Hmm.
there's the activist. I can't remember the other two offhand. It's part of my PowerPoint presentation, but
Hmm.
people don't even know that there are types of public
Yeah.
speaking,
Yep.
that there are so many different ways that you can go about learning how to, or even adapting to public speaking. For
Hmm.
example, yours,
Hmm.
your platform is a communication.
Hmm.
You provide communication, but you have to be able to know how to engage your audience,
Yes.
and that's so important. And
Mm.
so, yeah, if anybody's interested, guess what? It's a virtual class,
Yeah. There
and
you
so
go.
anybody can take the workshop. It doesn't matter where in the country you are. I get so excited when we get people from other places in the country, so
Hmm.
it's exciting. Just kind of reach out to us at JANET at JANDE enterprises.org. We'd love to send you information and to get you registered for the next class.
Look here, yeah, yeah, I heard it here. Look, I'm serving this up for you guys today. Anybody watching, anybody listening? 'Cause these are things, and I mean, and I'm saying this truthfully from my heart that these are all very positive things, and I'm happy. Like I said, we're all about positivity here. We're all about educating, empowering, impacting, and these are nuggets and gems that you can do virtually to better yourself and to use your skill from a negative standpoint and use it positively to change things going on, not only in the DMV area, the Charlotte area, but anywhere where your community is based at. So take the opportunity and reach out to Janet. If you
Thank you
find.
so very much for that.
Mhm.
And by the way, hats off to you for what you're doing with your podcast. I love the
Thank
fact
you.
that you
Thank
are
you.
about bringing positivity. I love the fact that you are about engaging community people, community leaders at any level, and just
Hmm.
bringing us together to have conversations about positive change. I am so very proud to have that knowledge about you. I think that
Thank
what
you.
you're doing is great. I applaud you for what you're doing, and just keep doing it. We need it.
Thank you so much. And right now, I think this is it. I mean, other than my 9 to 5, I got my boss looking at me. No, babe, the 9 to 5. Right, right. The 9 to 5 comes first, but this is my passion.
I
Uh,
can tell.
it really is. I do believe that we can do so many things negatively in our community, and I say this lovingly. We can tear each other down. I come from the age of we used to snap on each other, the Joneses and Joan, and that's great. It's cool. But we're in a time now where I listen back to when I think of my mother saying, "Man, I never thought I would live through this, or I would never see this." And we've lived through a lot of those moments. I've seen a black president. I've seen racism at its finest. I've seen racism on a level that I remember my parents talking about that I never
Yes.
thought so you have to really draw a line for yourself. And really, this line for me is all about finding people like you that are doing things in our communities across this country that no one talks about.
And that's awesome.
And I think it's important that people really see that there are people like me out here doing these things.
Yes.
The media is not going to, not to say they wouldn't talk to you, but right now, this is not something that they want to show a person of color doing something so positive.
Absolutely.
So we have to create our own narrative, and I'm
That's
honored.
right. That's
I'm
right.
honored to be able to
Well
bring
said.
something. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And
Well said. Well said.
so before we get into the break, Janet, then I want to ask because you mentioned some great things in your virtual speaking class. Can you maybe share one tip? Uh, if I were to come to you and let's say I just had a fear of talking, like one tip that maybe you can give someone listening, like how to help them get over their fear of speaking in public.
Well, one of the things that we do, Damon, during the public speaking class is that I teach everybody or I coach everybody to know you should be prepared to speak about any topic. So, for
Mm,
example, one of the things that I do is that I give exercises. It's a very engaging class. And then I give everybody an exercise. And during this exercise, for example, I'll come up with the most obscure, incredibly crazy topics. In the last class, I had somebody doing lollipops. Another
okay.
individual had to do clouds. Another individual had to do social media. And so, what I do is that I give them a 30-minute break. And during that time, they have to write about that topic and then they have to present to the other participants in the workshop. So, one of the most difficult things to overcoming fear is overcoming it. And
Mm.
so, what we do is that we create this platform for them during the workshop so that they can interact and speak with their fellow workshoppers. And then during that time, they get feedback.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll get feedback based on some of the things that I had already reviewed in the class about some of the things that they did great, but some of the things that they could have done better. And
Mm.
this helps everybody just kind of, really come into themselves. And so that by the time we do the second exercise where they have to present before the class, they do it with a lot more confidence.
Man, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that's just one tip. That's just one tip. And it's great. I think this is something that if you're listening, uh, as we're moving forward, into in this virtual platform, because for some industries, this may become the norm. And
Yes.
I think if you find that you may be in this niche window and your current business platform or industry is moving this way, you might want to reach out to Janet. Because you too, because I know a lot of people. And I won't speak anywhere. But I know someone specifically who works in the industry that requires them to talk, but hates it like with a passion. And I look, if this is what they're doing, you're gonna have to figure out a way to get over it, and this is one way. So I'll be sharing this information with that person.
Thank you so very much. Again, remember our workshop is very interactive. It's very engaging. It's very hands-on. It's got a ton of information, and I make sure that everybody has a comfort level before we actually disengage from the workshop. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and press on. But before we continue with the second half of the conversation, I want to go ahead and say thanks to our platinum sponsors. And ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back after the break. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back out the break. Your man, Dame DNYDC. I'm sitting here with the great Janet Butts, CEO, founder, of J&E Enterprise LLC out of Charlotte. Janet, we've been talking about, I mean, we've had a great conversation. We've kind of covered
I agree.
so much about your diversity and the things that you're working on. But I do just want to go back and kind of touch on J&E Enterprise in a sense of with the services. First, let's say who would you say, or maybe not, who would be an ideal customer, and really, what can an ideal customer get? Like, what would that introductory, the introduction be like? Kind of what some of the steps are, and how you can help. Let's say somebody like myself. Let's say it's me, and I'm coming. Hey, Janet, I need some assistance with two mics up, and kind of maybe show us what that might look like. That little process might look like.
Awesome. Let me just say that the most important thing is, and I tell people this all the time, would you be willing to do this for free? Are
Mm.
you passionate enough about this company that you want to start or nonprofit that you want to start? And it
Mm.
means so much to you that you would be willing to do it for free.
Mm.
And the reason why I asked that question, Damon, is because if they're willing to do it for free, they'll put in the work that it's going to
Mm.
take to make it a profitable company. A lot of times people think that
Mm.
they can just start a company and that it's just going to do it on its own, and it's not. It takes hard work, it takes dedication, it takes long hours. And guess what? In many cases, you may not even be able to leave your 9 to 5 before you can get started full time on your business.
Mhm.
I got lucky in the sense that we started our business during a time where those services that we provide are intricate to what we were living
Mhm.
as a country at the time. But one of the things that I would do, and these are some very straightforward questions that I asked: How long have you been thinking about doing this? What
Mhm.
is the most important thing that you want to get out of it? Are you willing to wait? A lot of
Mm.
times people want overnight sensations on
Okay.
businesses. And let
Yep.
me tell you, I don't know that I've ever heard of anything where that happens.
No.
We've been in
Nope.
business, like I said, almost a year now. And believe it or not, we're still working hard in our marketing, in our promotions, in our after hours times to make
Mm.
this the kind of business people would be that would be appealing to people.
Mhm.
You have to understand that your passion and your vision is exactly that. It's your passion and your vision. It
You know
doesn't
a lot.
mean it's not a viable one. It just means that not everybody's going to get it. Not
Mhm.
everybody's going to want it. You have to have tough skin when you get ready to get into business for
Yep.
yourself, because
Yep.
one of the things that will happen is people will hurt your feelings. And
Mhm.
one of the things that you have to be sure that you are ready to do is build trust. Because when you're coming out, starting out with a business, if people don't know you, why would they have a
Yeah.
reason to trust you? And
True.
so you have to be willing to make some sacrifices. For example, every now and then you may have to offer something at a very reduced or
Yep.
even a free
Yep.
capacity,
Yep.
so that people can begin to trust you. And more importantly than others, be ready to be present, to be out there, to be in
Mhm.
people's faces, to get people to be aware of who you are. By nature, I am not a networking individual. I'm not a big
Mhm.
fan of networking.
Mhm.
I'm not a big fan of getting out there and meeting strangers and having these conversations about my business. But guess what? I've actually gotten so good at it that I'm going to teach the art of networking as well. And so you have to understand that this is a creature all by itself,
Yep.
and that what you may think is spectacular, the world may not see it the same way until you make them see it that way.
Yep.
And then once you become spectacular in their eyes, then your business will begin to grow, because then people will begin to talk about you. But that's the most
Great.
important thing I want entrepreneurs and business people to come out of the gate knowing: I have to work hard to
Mm.
make this happen.
You're not lying about that. And I, I sit and I'm listening, and I'm thinking about all the times initially, because there were a lot of things that you said in there that really resonate with me, in the sense of, this is my passion, this is my vision. And early on, sitting down, I'm blessed to have a team of people around me that, nah, I don't know if that's a good idea,
That's
because
right.
you might see that. But us sitting here as, let's say, if we were the audience or the masses, no, you might want to push that one to the side. That's not a good vision for everyone,
Right.
and it's good that sometimes, you're surrounded by that, because then it really does help you to understand. Okay, well, you got to get out of your feelings
That's right.
and get out of you, and really start trying to. I took, my team, and became that mirror, looking back at myself and trying to take all of that in and disseminate what is good for everyone else, while still staying true to who I am, and trying to keep it on track with the vision and the mission of the
That's
show.
right. That's
So
right.
what you just said is very important, and I hope people, really hear that and understand that. And then, two, I think a lot of us don't really see or understand the work, like you mentioned, after hours. um, you know, like I said, two mics. We're in our third season, but this has only been 2 years. It's a blessing. We're continuing to grow. Uh, things are really starting to take place. It's
Great.
you can see the vines and the things spreading, but a lot of people don't see the after hours.
That's right.
What's going on behind the scenes? A lot of times, like I said, when you see this, sometimes people are saying, "Oh man, this real easy." Yeah, he's been doing. No, you don't see what goes on behind scenes,
That's
or
right.
and to share, like, even with us having you come on. Sometimes people don't see the part where guests have to reschedule because life happens.
That's right.
Things happen, and
That's
then
right.
you don't see that, and then, well, how do you pivot? How do you shift? And then you got to make changes. Try to see if I can get this per. So they don't see all of that, and I think it's just really important. And I'm glad that you shared that because it's really vital in overall success. Because, like I said, this doesn't happen overnight. I don't
That's
know.
right.
I don't know
The other
anybody.
thing that I think it's important for people to understand is that change is a constant.
Mm-hmm.
Change is the only constant in
Yep.
our lives.
Yep.
You may not end with the same people you started.
That's right.
Your During your journey, people will come and go. Um, uh, Life will change.
Yep.
We will
Yep.
go into things like pandemics.
Yep.
And change is a constant.
Mm-hmm.
What you have to keep in mind the whole time is to keep the integrity of your
Yes.
passion, to
Yes.
stay committed to it,
Yes. Mhm.
to stay consistent with it.
Yep.
Because like you and I just said, I'm going to be here one day, but then tomorrow I'm going to be like, you know what? This is not for me. So,
Yep.
Damon, I'm going to have to go
Yep.
ahead and say thank you so very much for this
Yep.
opportunity, but I'm out.
Yeah.
And then you don't fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I believe new business owners should always have is a plan B for the plan B. And that's
Hey,
all
that's
there
a
is to it.
hey.
You have to have a plan B for the plan B because
Mm-hmm.
if you don't prepare, you will lose it when
Whew.
things start to fall apart. Yeah,
You look. You talking. You preaching to the choir. Because, like I said, I had to learn heck of plan B. I had to have a plan B for plan C and
that's
C for
right.
D and D. And what about Z? Because I might as well just go ahead and try to get all the way down here. Because, like I said, it's a constant change, and everyone, we're all blessed to be, here on this earth and doing our thing. But everybody does come across different things, different days that coincide. That, okay, well, maybe, yeah, they were booked to be here today, but something came up that was a little more important,
Mm-hmm,
or there was a personal issue or family or a murder. We don't know. Uh,
mm-hmm,
and I just think, like I say, you evolve yourself, and you add on plans and develop your skills so
that's
that you
right.
can go ahead and move on as seamless as possible. And like I said, we
That's
were
right.
blessed that we reached out. Hey, we never want to here on Two Mics Up. Anybody that's been booked to come on the show, we never want to not give them the opportunity to come on. And we were blessed. My team got with you, and we were able to reschedule, re-coordinate, and here we are.
Here we are.
Great conversation, great
And it
episode.
happens. And it happens. It's
Yep.
going to happen. The
Mhm.
good, the bad, and the ugly. It's going to happen.
Mm,
The other thing I would definitely encourage people is when you get ready to start a business, please evolve with the times. Don't
mm,
think that your way is
mm.
the only way it's going to
Okay.
happen.
Whew.
Evolve with the times. Know the trends. Know what the new thing is, for lack of a
Mhm.
better term,
Yep.
and then adapt to it. Because one thing that the public does not like is when you think that your way is the only
Only
way, and
way.
that's the only way that you're going to do things
Mhm.
your way.
Mhm.
You can't be rigid. You have to be flexible.
Flexible.
You have to be willing to do what it takes within reason, of course,
Mhm.
to be appealing to the public. But don't ever think that your way is the only way. I mean, I had to learn the hard way. I didn't invent anything. Nothing.
Right.
There is nothing new under the sun.
No.
Everything that you and I are doing, Damon,
Yeah.
many people
Many
before
people.
us have
Yep.
done it.
Yep.
So evolve with the times, know the trends, know who your audience is, know who your
Mhm.
demographic is, and then make it appealing to them. For
Yep.
example, and I tell people this all the time. In fact, I bring it up in the public speaking class all the time. Don't have a conversation about Jay-Z's
Mm.
or Jordans at
Mhm.
a convalescent center,
Okay.
and don't talk about wheelchairs and walkers to teenagers,
That's right.
because that's what you do.
Mm.
Adapt and make
Yep.
yourself flexible and
Yep.
know how to reach your audience. If this is the audience that you've decided that you want to reach, do that, but then know that trend.
That's right, man. Okay, that was a gem right there. That was a nugget, And all, I mean, it really was. And all I can just say right now is this: that was the sensational. And I mean, we gonna drop it right there. But Jen, before we go and before we close out, I have to ask then, with everything that you're doing, and with the new center and the new program, I mean, what else? What else is next for Janet Butts?
Man, the sky,
Oh, I
the
love it.
sky, Damon.
I love it.
The sky is the limit for
Mm,
me. And that's exactly what I'm going to be preaching to my women.
mm,
I want my ambition to reach the stars,
mm,
and then I'll just work things out on the way back. I want you to know that when we call ourselves J&E Enterprises, that's exactly what we intend to be. We intend to be a company that has many sub companies.
mm,
And one of the main reasons why this is important to me is because I'm going to be serving a community of women that are going to have challenges getting employment. But as long as I have employment opportunities for them, that's one thing they can check off their worry list. And so
mm.
our intention is to create an enterprise of multiple businesses, profitable businesses that these women can come
Wow.
and build with us with their
Wow.
own gifts and talents.
Man, that's amazing. Look, sisters, anybody out here listening, brothers, you got sisters, family members that could really need some help and support. You're getting it here today with Janet. Definitely reach out to her
Thank
enterprise.
you.
Before we go, Janet, if you can take a minute also to leave where a quick word where those who are watching and listening can reach out to you, whether it be on social media. I want to make sure if this is correct. This was at J&E Enterprises of Charlotte. That biz.
That's it.
Okay, I'm going to let that sit there while you go ahead and give your social media information to our audience.
Absolutely. We are also on Facebook. We are on Instagram. Just type in J&E Enterprises or J&E Enterprises of Charlotte, and you will find us there. You will see what we're up to next. We like to keep our followers engaged and informed, and we also give a great deal of inspiration and encouragement through our Facebook pages. So check out our website. Our website will give you an opportunity to contact us. There's a form on there where you can contact us directly. Our turnaround time is 24 hours, but most oftentimes we get back to you right away. So reach out to us even after the show today. If you just want to share some thoughts about what you've heard, or if you think that I was just probably one of Damon's worst guests, you can let me know that too. But we
No.
had a great time being here with you guys today, and I look forward to hearing from anybody and everybody that wants to reach out to us.
Thank you so much, Janet. Look, ladies and gentlemen, this was a great conversation today. Today's episode. Uh, please take a moment if you can. If you know anyone in the Charlotte area, or anyone who's not in the Charlotte area that needs some help with public speaking, that's interested in building their business brand through virtual administration. Yeah, look, even if you want to write, you want to learn how to write because the sister's an author. Like, I mean,
We're going to teach the art of writing.
see, so you have it all here. But please take a moment, reach out to Janet, share her information with your network. Like we always do here on Two Mics Up, we're so proud of using our platform to continue to educate, empower, and positively impact our community. Janet, thank you so much again for your kind words and sharing your message with our listeners today. Ladies and gentlemen, before we go, like I always say, if you're watching us today on YouTube, and if you haven't done so yet, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that bell down there at the top so that you can be notified by all the newest content coming to you from Two Mics Up. And like Janet said, hey, you can go ahead and give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking, how you feel. I'm always up for constructive criticism, good or bad. Just let me know how you feel. You can follow Two Mics Up online at www.twomicsup.com. You can also follow us across social media, IG, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Two Mics Up. And like we always do at this time, stay safe, stay blessed. Mics out.